And I guess we are live. So let me just make sure the audio's good. Yep, it's good. Just wait for a few people to show up. Get a little bit of some tunes. All right, we got some people. Hello. Yep, I'm alive. So I was posting on my channel's, the little YouTube community section. I've been posting comments for like 2 months now, posting pictures of projects I was working on. I was working on a music video that I had been commissioned to produce. And oh, are you guys on my Discord? Yeah. I'll post a link right now. I better add everyone in there too. Let's see. Can I get a link to send people my stream? Share. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is the RTX stream. Minecraft RTX has officially launched, and I am going to show it right now. I'm a developer on Minecraft RTX, and this is what it looks like. Is it beautiful? Hundreds of people have worked on this for months and months. Came here just to like the stream. Thank you, and you're gonna head out now. Okay. Okay, so the plan is basically I've been posting on my channel for months talking about projects and shaders that I was going to release. A music video that I was working on fell through. I couldn't finish it because, well, actually, that's a mix of reasons that I'll probably rant about later. But basically, everything that I was working on, I kind of lost faith in, except the shader pack. I might end up releasing that. That was Even Shaders, and I mean that Even Shaders is a. Let me show this project. It's funny because I was talking on my channel about releasing this thing called Even Shaders, which is just a GitHub project that is public. So like if you just go on this page on GitHub and like download it and put it in your Minecraft shaders folder, like you can run it. It's a perfectly functional shader like that. So it doesn't really need to be released. That's more of just like me marketing it. How is this? Landhuman says, how is this compared to Seuss, this ray trace shader that I'm working on? It's definitely worse than Seuss right now. It's probably faster at the work that it does, rendering. It's faster at doing that, but it's not. It doesn't have a lot of the sort of tricks and optimizations that Seuss has. Let me show. This is Seuss E12 or E11. I know that E12 is out, but I'm not supporting Cody on Patreon anymore, so I don't have. You have Seuss E12? Okay. What's with the static? That's a good question. Let me just look at. This is what Seuss looks like right now, which is not bad. This is a pretty cool like shader. Like you could actually play the game with Seuss, which is nice. You definitely couldn't really play with my shader right now. If we turn it to nighttime, let's see. 1800. If we turn it to nighttime, you can sort of see the issues with Seuss and the way it works. Cody is doing some really interesting things with light projection, and I think he's rendering the light in some sort of world space buffer, which is a great idea, but also leads to weird issues like these sort of disco effects that happen even when you look away and look back. But it doesn't really have any noise, which is nice. Let me show my shader and talk about that noise that someone mentioned. Make one of those acid videos. I plan to one day, but at the moment I'm sort of more. I've been more interested in shaders for a long time, and so. Unsalty, can you recommend any light shaders which don't impact performance heavily? Yeah, go download my project, Even Shaders. It's fucking really good. I worked on this for fucking years. Let me look at the contributions graph. Yeah, so this is a shader that I worked on mostly in 2016, and the main like focus of this was to be like Seuss 10.1, which is a great shader. That was before GI was a sort of a big deal. Before shaders started to perform really really terribly. So this is like I spent years making this like the fastest shader for the feature set that it has. I was kind of like I didn't handle it the best because I didn't implement things like nether support, or like I didn't make nighttime that beautiful. You know, it's not a robust shader, but for having shadows and just like simple stuff like that, it's far and away the best shader for that. Really really fast. Um, yeah, let me show what even shaders looks like. Bruce takes acid. Maybe. So this is what even shaders looks like, but it's fucking. Let me just get a performance comparison up. If I set this to unlimited FPS and I just pause the game, I'm at 180 FPS, which you don't know my hardware. You probably have crappy hardware, so that's not really it doesn't tell you anything. But if I just go compare to like Seuss E11, um, and it takes forever to compile too. Fuck, man. Okay, if we go download or just load up Seuss E11 and then look at the same scene, we're getting 77 FPS, which is sort of gives you an idea of the performance differences. So even is just a lot faster than everything else, and you can also turn most of the things off. So even if it's too slow, um, even if even is too slow, you could just turn the settings down even more. Tom Z, I'm building a computer soon. You're gonna download even. Okay, nice. What headset is that? This is a Bose regular headset. Sorry, this is a regular, just like headset that I like because I hate heavy headsets. It doesn't come with a microphone. This is a Mod Mic 5. It's a USB mic, and I bought a Mod Mic 4 originally on someone's recommendation, and it was fucking the worst mic I've ever had. Um, I don't know what. Basically, it plugged into an audio jack like most microphones, but whenever I plugged it into my computer, it had like this really bad static. And I looked online, and it was just like it looked like there was a big fiasco with this fucking mic because it usually had static, and you had to like get a USB converter, like do all this shit. Mod Mic 4 is a piece of shit. I don't know why I trusted the company again and bought a Mod Mic 5, but it's a USB microphone and it doesn't have those problems. So I would recommend it Mod Mic 5, but Mod Mic 4 is a piece of shit. Um, American boy, why is you American? I don't know. I'm just from California, so I pay a lot in rent. Um, this is path traced versus normal right. Yeah, so this project ptrace, this is the code name for this shader that I've been working on for about a year now, but really the past month I've been working on it like really actively. Um, but yeah, it's noisy because it's doing like I don't know if you would call it physically based path tracing. For example, like you can see global illumination effects in here, but like that's not because I wrote a function that does global illumination. That's because I wrote a little like rendering pipeline that hits surfaces and then launches more rays based on some functions. Um, you don't need to speak this fast. Okay, thank you for the tip. Usually when I get on stream, I get a little bit uh, a little bit nervous. It's not something that I'm used to. I'll try to slow down though. Finally, we see your face. I've got other streams on my channel. I think I hid them because I couldn't watch them back. When I watched them, I was so ashamed of like my speaking, um, just the way that I spoke. So yeah. Um, Pizza Italian Grande Mariana. That must be. I feel like that might be one of my friends from back when I used to play Minecraft who knows that I'm Italian. Um, no, but today I wanted to actually uh, see if I could do something in the. I've got a long list of things that I want to do with this shader before hopefully releasing it on some sort of subscription service like Patreon. But obviously right now it looks like shit. So that's sort of probably a few months out. Um, who's that? Okay. Yeah. Let me get into a larger scale scene. Minecraft is all staticky from the shader. Yeah, it is. That's how this effect works, though. Um, so I need at some point. Do I think I'll leave the stream up? Yeah, I've been struggling to start I've wanted to stream for a while, but just I don't know. I think I've got some sort of mental hang up about it. And so today was a really I like forced myself to do it. And I also sort of promised myself like if you stream like from now on, you have to leave them like public somehow because you have to get over this like this issue where you're just afraid of like showing your face in public. But here's a larger scale stream, larger scale environment. This is actually fucking Farlands, but one second. Let me turn on the large scale rendering up here. Have some code up here. Um, hmm. Yeah, it was this part. Yeah, this is a Farlands world, but in order to make the rendering work when you're above the Y256 limit, you have to do some tricks. And let me just remember what I did before. There we go. 5.9 should do it. Oh, shit. Maybe one of these is supposed to be 5.9 and the other one is supposed to be 6.1. No, that's not it. Oh, but this was what I was doing before when I caused some weird effect to happen where that all of the terrain is tiled like forever. And it looks like the rendering distance is a lot larger than it is. Let me just open up a screenshot that I took of that before. Why is this shader pack for Minecraft 1.12? Because 1.12, so it's gonna be for all, it's gonna be for 1.12, 13, 14, and 15 at some point. I have been working on 1.12 just because every other version is really slow. 1.12 is the only version that's tolerable for me, especially like the chunk loading in 1.14. It's weird because I thought that Mojang had done some work to like speed things up or like maybe rewrite the renderer or something, but it just got worse. So I've stayed on 1.12. Luckily, what was I gonna say? Yeah, luckily Optifine has been when he adds new features that I need to like new features to do new sorts of effects and techniques. He's been pretty good about backporting them to older versions of the game as well. So these are 1.14 Optifine features, but on Minecraft 1.12. And I think when I have a minute to sit down and work on it, I will be able to get this shader to run on every version all the way back to 1.8. So even certain mod packs might work in the future. But right now we don't even have like non-cubic geometry, so like these flowers still look like shit. And if we have tall grass, if I plant some tall grass, I can't because I'm in game mode 3. But tall grass looks like shit. These leaves don't have any opacity yet. Um, Wait, what is this thing from Tomsy that says keep up the good work, brother? Did I just get a donation? Because I thought that I had to set those up somehow. Um, if I just got a donation, thank you. That's cool. I wasn't expecting. I didn't think you could just make money from streams like that, but okay. Rambo Lambo says 1.15 is the new render stuff. Oh, I thought that was 1.14. Anyway, it feels like every time Mojang tries to address something with like the speed of the game, like it just gets worse. So it's difficult to get excited about that news. Um, and at the very least, if it doesn't get worse, it does take a long time for Optifine to update. And this is totally like this whole endeavor um, is like dependent on Optifine updating. So when are you going to do another acid interstate? I don't know at this point. I got paid to do one, and then I quit. I canceled a commission, which was like very difficult for me to do. and I like refunded this guy who paid me a lot of money to make one of these Acid Interstate videos. But when will I do another one? It's like I don't know. I don't even know if I will do another one, cause I've come to have like more respect for the creative process or whatever. I don't want to call myself an artist or something, but like um I found that it's better to just let myself work on whatever I'm interested in. And at the moment that it's been this shader. Maybe in the future, if I were to make another Acid Interstate, it would have to be like using this. And so this would need to be in like a state where I could use this to make a video. Which I mean, that's already what I want to. I want to develop this to be like um, more usable. But yeah, I don't have plans for a video right now. Maybe when this is cooler. Um, Uh, okay. I should definitely stream more. Yeah, I want to. That's part of the reason that I like forced myself to do it today, because I just realized like this is a pretty normal thing to do. I would probably enjoy it. Probably get some eyes on this stuff that I'm working on. That's something important, is working on Minecraft shaders in isolation is like a really bad idea. I work with the people at Continuum a lot, and uh, that's a group of little shader devs who make shaders and sell them on a website. But I feel a lot of times that like because we just sort of talk to each other and we don't um, like watch people use our shaders a lot. We end up focusing on making stuff like physically based, like physically based, dude, the most realistic shader. And at the end of the day, like a normal person will just load up one of these shaders, and I'll just load up Continuum RT, which is unfinished right now. So just like take that with a grain of salt. But if I load up Continuum RT and it's like dude, like the stone isn't rendering. That's because I'm on the wrong game version. But like, and even when it does render, it's like it's kind of slow, and it doesn't totally justify like the bad performance by looking good. Like you have to explain to someone right now why this shader is good. And I don't think that you should ever have to explain to a normal person why something is cool, especially not like a shader, because it's supposed to be beautiful. Um, yeah. Uh, my phone is catching on fire from watching this stream. Okay. What am I gonna do about the Nether and the end? That's a great fucking question. So the Nether, I mean, I think for the most part, I will be able to just reuse most of my code for this path trace shader. I will be able to reuse most of the code for the Nether and the end, and just like update some things like the sky, and then things should sort of fall into place pretty painlessly because the lighting is faux realistic. Um, yeah, I mean that's the plan. Whenever this gets to the point, and I guess I haven't pointed out here, but if you stand still, like it very quickly converges to a non-noisy image, and that's like my first aim with this shader pack is to have it sort of take the place of something like chunky, like a rendering tool. What GPU do I have? I have a 1070 right now. I'm actually running on a laptop because my main computer died. But I've enjoyed running on a laptop more actually because you can bring it around with you. It's a big dick gaming laptop, but you know, um, what stage am I at with this shader? I would say like alpha. Um, I'm thinking of putting this on Patreon or something, but I'm not comfortable yet with like letting people pay for it and then this is what they get. It's like I wouldn't be happy if I paid for this and then got like where it's at right now. But I'm thinking maybe in a month or so it'll be much more usable, and then I'll probably put it on Patreon. Um, I'm a total noob about shaders, and I never installed some because my computer is shit. The things that I expect from shaders are only this. Looks good, doesn't burn my PC. I mean, this will kind of burn your PC right now, though. It doesn't necessarily have to be that way. Um, Even with the new ray tracing stuff, like all of the ray tracing shaders are going to perform a lot worse. They're going to take a lot like more beef, like the hardware's, you're going to need beefy hardware to run these at least for a while. But like it doesn't have to be so terrible. Like the difference between uh, a ray trace shader right now and like an ideal ray trace shader made by someone who was like really focusing on performance, you could probably get 2 or 3 times the performance out of one of these things. And I think that can sort of open it up to mostly normal people being able to use these. Um, RTX on, yeah, this is the RTX on stream. How did you use the generator port mod? Well, I used it in Minecraft 1.2.5 because it was never updated after that. And so to use it, I just downloaded 1.2.5. But if I was making a video on 1.7 or something, or 1.12 now, I wouldn't be able to use that. I would have to, or if I did, I would have to generate the terrain in like a separate version of Minecraft and then move the saves over. Why is this popping up in my recommended? Because I'm the mining god and I have a TNT ball. My big TNT ball video has 20 million views on YouTube, and so that's where I get my clout, is from this video that I made when I was 13. Um, I'm using Aurelian Sama's maps. This guy is insane at buildings. Yeah, Aurelian Sama was like probably one of the biggest terraformers back in 2012 or something on Planet Minecraft, when people like Planet Minecraft was relevant. But I think now he's just like a YouTuber or a streamer. Every time I checked out his stuff, he like hadn't built anything in he seemed like he didn't really play Minecraft anymore. But these maps that he made back then were really cool. Let me see if I can find a different area on here. This shader looks pretty nice in the desert right now, just because the water, I haven't written anything for the water, so it looks like shit. Yeah, like that's probably the biggest thing, is like I try to take take pictures of this to like make it look cool, but it's like this water just looks like fucking shit, man. Oh, man, let me get in Seuss PTGI and just look at how his water is doing, because I think it's really good. Why don't you make the V3 behind the scenes video public? It is a really good standalone video which goes underrated. Wait, did I do a stream that was just Acid Interstate V3 behind the scenes? I thought I kept like planning to do it and then never do it. I'll look back through my streams and make the other ones public, because I shouldn't have privated them. When I privated them though, I did make sure I didn't just delete them. Like I thought about it and it's like, no, one day you're gonna have to get over this and like just make these public. How about oh, this is a great comment. How about using the official NVIDIA ray tracing instead of Seuss path tracing? Because NVIDIA ray tracing only works on the Windows 10 edition of this game. That nobody plays that. I guess like some kids do, but if you want to play with mods, or you want to play on any of the really established servers, or if you just like want the most up-to-date shit from what Mojang is working on, you have to play the Java edition. Like I think the Java edition is like the canonical version of the game, and so it's hard to get excited about anything when it's just like Windows 10 edition only, which is what RTX is. So this doesn't use any Minecraft path tracing right now. Doesn't use any like RTX cores. I just thought it would be funny to put RTX on in the title because it was a really successful marketing campaign. Trying to learn graphics programming lately, hoping to eventually be able to pull something off like this. You recommend any books or articles? I'm not really sure. I would say just do stuff that you're interested in. Like just find a shader that you like, and sort of like try to tweak stuff in it. Maybe try to add clouds or like a new feature. Incremental updates on a shader that you like, that you enjoy like working on, and at some point then you can branch out and make your own shader. And in the meantime, you'll probably have to read articles online as stuff sort of comes up. You got a Titan Black and you think you could run it? Yeah, you probably could. Aurelian Sama is running a creative server right now and showcasing building. Okay, that's cool. I'm glad that he got back into Minecraft. Are these streams archived anywhere? I love hearing what you have to say. Yeah, I'll archive this and make the other ones public. I made them private before just because I was so embarrassed with like the way that I spoke. But I think most people, if you record them and then just like play it back, they wouldn't like the sound of their voice. So maybe that's normal. Joke's on you. I don't even know what RTX is. RTX is NVIDIA's marketing campaign for their GTX 2000 series graphics card. So like the GTX 2080 was like the RTX card, and it was basically just a big marketing campaign by Nvidia for their new graphics cards, but it was pretty successful. There were a lot of like memes about it, and I think it's partly why Sonic Ether got so much attention suddenly was because he was doing ray tracing, and then Nvidia started optimizing ray tracing, and people were like, "Oh shit, um, that's that RTX thing that we saw about, or that's that we saw." But it's like actually Sonic Ether's PTGI shader has nothing to do with RTX on, and neither does this. But I'm still gonna use the marketing because it's funny. Um, BSL shaders are pretty cool, all screen space though. I mean, every shader before the most recent wave of ray tracing shaders, they were all screen space effects, including even shaders, and that was great for a while. But it's like after you after you start like coding for ray trace shaders, it's like there's just so many more possibilities for what you can do that like I can't imagine going and working on Eben anymore. It would be kind of painful. I probably should because like that shader's almost like finished. It's almost ready to just like let people play with it. Yeah. I've been tricked, I've been backstabbed, and you've been bam. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. Hmm. Let's see. Are there any comments that I missed? Oh, someone says, you mean the shocking behind the scene video? That was just a compilation of. Actually, I'll make all the videos visible somehow on my channel. Yeah, probably in playlists. They'll be unlisted, but just like in a playlist of stream archives or something like that. Because I don't want to clutter up my uploads page too much. Um, my friend knows how to code, and I have a good computer, so together we can make a good shader. I mean, he'll know how to. If you let him code on your computer, I don't really hear like you learning how to code through that, but maybe if you sort of hang out with him a lot. Uh, Ray tracing experience, yeah. Oh, here's the procedural ball. I forgot about this thing. Let me play with this. If we here, emissive brightness, emissive sphere brightness. Make this one like. Okay, so I have this little procedural sphere that emits light, and let me make it a little bit bigger too. Make it like 100 brightness or something. That's a little bit too bright. And then if I go over to this code over here, its position or size is like right here, and I'll make it 10. Okay. Yeah, this is a little just effect that a little procedural ball that I put in the world um, it's like a placeholder for more other volumetric effects like like clouds or something. Sort of when I write a cloud um, density function, then I can just drop it into my code where this thing is rendered, and it should influence like the lighting other stuff. The clouds will be reflected automatically, and then it'll cast shadows really nicely too. What map gen presets are you using? This is a pre-generated map from like or this is like a hand-painted map. A guy named Aurelian Sama made this map with Voxel Sniper in like 2012. So this is a really old map. Um, I'm coding with Atom. Yeah, I've heard. I coded with Note++ for a while, but after seeing just like 2 features in Atom, I realized that it was a lot nicer. Um, I should add my GitHub link. That's a good idea, actually. Um, that would get some more people to look at even. Because I think most people, when they go on GitHub, especially like people who aren't programmers, they're just like, they don't realize most of the stuff on GitHub, you need to be a programmer to like download it and compile it and do stuff like that. But with Minecraft shaders, you can just download them and install them. It's just like a host for your files. Why is my shader called Eben? Because I didn't have a better name for it at the time. and I thought it would be funny to have a shader that was branded with like Spurto Spard, the like even bear. Yeah. This is a really dense ball. This ball is like really big and dense. But it has an interesting effect if you make it a little bit less dense. Let me see over here. What's going on? Divided by 10. Okay, now it's a little bit see-through. If we make it a little bit more see-through. Yeah, now you can see through this ball. And you see the shadow that it cast has almost completely gone away. I have auto exposure on, which makes it difficult to keep certain effects visible. Yeah, there's a very faint shadow here, and it fades in and out sort of naturally. This water is fucking really ugly. Go into the sun. There is no sun, actually. It's not rendering anything right now. There's sort of a dot up there, but yeah. Let me turn off the my rule of thirds lines. Where were they? Right here. Yeah, let me get into a different world. This one's getting kind of slow. Any shaders I recommend for someone who only uses the vanilla texture pack? I recommend even shaders. Yeah, I would recommend even shaders in just about every situation, except if you're like PvPing or something, because I didn't write a lot of uh, like convenience features. Let me just like walk around here and let it converge a little bit. I've got parallax in here already, and it's visible in reflections. I know. Let me go into a world that shows that off. Yeah, delete the water. I mean, I need to write basically something that will render it procedurally, but that's kind of it's. I need to do it, but I'm hesitating because it'll probably make the shader a lot slower when you're around water. Um, yeah. So this glowstone has some parallax. It's a little bit weird looking, but uh, if I put an iron block here, you can see the parallax through the iron block. Yeah. And another idea that I have is actually the way parallax works is right now this block's silhouette is just rendered, and then it like renders parallax beneath that. And so if you get at a grazing angle, you like see parallax into the next block, um, which looks really bad if you do something like this. You're like seeing the parallax go into the next block, but I think that you can actually modify the silhouette because we're just ray tracing all of it. Um, so that's something that I want to do later. Yeah, it actually looks not bad if you keep the camera still. Yeah, that's my fault. I've been um, so used to just running around and like looking at it from every angle that I haven't sort of stood still that long. What if I said it's at nighttime? Yeah, here we go. This is a really difficult scene because there's not a lot of light sources, and so it's very noisy at first. But if we just sort of sit here and let it render, I put a little counter in the top right to show how many frames it's accumulated. Making any big Minecraft videos in the future? Mm, not in the immediate future. I'm just planning to work on this, and I'll probably make some project with this shader when it's done. But at the moment, I've just been spending all of my time working on this shader because it's fun. Does it reflect at the same resolution? Yes, it does. Uh, yeah, let me see. This iron over here should be pretty reflective. And I don't have a BRDF So the reflections they don't look like smooth metal or anything. But yes, the reflections are all at the same resolution as everything else. Um, Actually, the game the game rasterizer is not active at this point. So everything that you're seeing is ray traced, even even the diamond blocks and stuff. Or I just mean like SUS PTGI. The first level of rendering is done the old way using rasterization, and then after that he uses the ray tracer, and that's a little bit faster. I'll probably set that up later, but at the moment, like everything that you're seeing uh, is done by the ray tracer, and so the ray tracer is capable of all of this. Yeah, it's exactly the same situation as Blender, or if you went into some other program to render it. Um, which actually I wanted to look at Chunky. Let me see. So Chunky is an offline renderer, um, but it's CPU based. So um, Minecraft shaders always use the GPU, but most like ray tracing up to this point has been on the CPU, and it's only now that GPU rendering is sort of getting a foothold with stuff like the RTX BS. And for example, this is an image that Chunky rendered. You can see there is global illumination and stuff like that, and there's like these clouds up here that cast shadows. The only problem with this program is that it is only CPU, and so like if we go on here, like a picture like this probably took like all night for someone to render, where like in my shader to produce something like this it would take a few minutes but not all night. And maybe even with some filtering you'd be able to get an image that is pretty close to this right away and it would be playable. um, for the shader, do you take into considerations the different block textures, and also why don't you use Visual Studio? Do you mean Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code? So Visual Studio is a mostly a C++ development IDE. I'm not writing code in C++, so obviously I don't need that. And VS Code, I just haven't tried it out yet, but I've heard that it's better than Atom, so I might in the future. Is there a reason in SUS PTGI that the reflections have a texture that is screen space for like half of the block out, then the texture dies and it looks kind of gross in the reflection? I don't know what that. I haven't noticed that. Let me look and see if I can find that. So if I go into SUS PTGI and I wait 2 minutes for it to compile because it has so many shader stages. There we go. Reflections have a texture that is screen space for half a block. Let's see. If we put down some of this, and then we put down a block over there, maybe on this side actually. I mean, this looks like exactly what you would expect. The textures are completely active in the reflection. This metal has a material on it that makes it sort of glossy and ugly, but otherwise the reflections are just as active. Totally off topic, but am I learning the Vietnamese language? I was for a while, and I still want to, but I got sort of, uh, how would I say? When I started working on P-Trace again, which is what I'm calling this ray traced shader, uh, I just found myself working on it like from dusk until dawn. As soon as I woke up in the morning, I would start working on it. So I kind of stopped doing anything else, including learning Vietnamese, which is a shame because I really wanted to learn that. I hope I do it. I pick it back up soon. But at the moment, it's just like I'm so obsessed with this. Yeah. Oh wait, I bet I know what Landhuman was referring to with the reflections having a texture that's screen space or whatever. So when you get too far away from stuff, it doesn't use the ray tracer anymore. because the ray tracer has a pretty limited range, and so there's like a pop-in effect when you get too far away. Stuff just like stops having nice lighting anymore. Um, yeah, yeah. If I come closer here, you can see there's more advanced lighting, and then I go up, and it's like it totally disappears. And the lighting range in SEUS is pretty bad, unfortunately. My shader, it can go up to a 16 chunk render distance, and the lighting will still affect everything. Um, this shader will not be using RTX technologies. Yep, that's correct. No, nothing in the Java version will be using RTX for a pretty long time. Yeah, because the Java version is using a really old version of OpenGL, and it's probably not possible for Optifine to fix that. At least not without working on it for months. What about with a custom resource pack? Let me see. I only have one other resource. I'm already using a custom resource pack. The default game looks like crap, so yeah. Maybe one more thing that I can look at with SEUS is the water reflections. Yeah, we can't really see the reflections in water just because stuff is so dark. Okay, over there we can see stuff. Yeah, the textures seem fine, so I think maybe there's something wrong with your settings. Hey, you use Soya R14 and it does the thing. I think you have to pay for that shader pack, and I haven't paid for that, so yeah. Hmm. Yep. What are your thoughts on the official RTX feature from Minecraft that is in store for us? I am excited for it. Fuck, I'm so excited about it. Let me go watch a trailer for it again. Uh, yeah, this one. I think this one was good. God damn it! Fuck. I mean, what do you guys think of this? It's okay. Like it's better than it's better than the game looks normally, but uh, mm, I would say it looks like a shader pack that I don't like. Yeah, I mean it's a visual step up, but I also feel like given the technology that they're using, like you should it should look better than this. I just feel like the team who's working on it has never worked on Minecraft shaders before. They don't really know how to make stuff look nice. This looks like they're trying to make a chunky render, and that's what I was going to talk about with chunky. Is this that like chunky, despite being pretty like despite having realistic lighting, like this program looks like shit. Most of the posts on this subreddit are like this kind of thing where it's a one chunk render or something. But if we look at like oh, we better go to some of like the worst post on here. If I go to the most popular this year, and then we just look like okay, that's okay. Like this picture isn't really beautiful. Um, it just has a long render distance and like shadows, but like nothing about this looks like the lighting doesn't contribute to this scene that much. or like the okay, this is actually kind of nice because we've got some global illumination, but like this sand is washed out. It looks fugly. Um, Let me go through a couple more and just see if I find a really egregious one. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Like a picture like this, realistic lighting, but like, does it look that nice? I don't think so. Like this water, the texture looks kind of crappy. It looks like this looks like Gmod or something. Yeah, that's how I feel about Chunky. Is it looks like Gmod. There's more to graphics than just like make the lighting realistic. Like people in in animation studios like Pixar, there are people who are paid like $1 million a year just to light the scenes, and not in a realistic way, but like in a way that makes you want to look at the movie. I don't want to look at shit like this. I would never make something like this my desk desktop background. This is like a cool perspective, but still the lighting is ugly. This is kind of cool. We got some rays coming off of here. The pink color is kind of nice, but these clouds look like shit. Um, the lighting on here, it looks like it's not beautiful. Um, this is okay. This is like a little bit of a step up, but still, like I just feel like there's a lot more that can be done with this scene, like some fog, so it doesn't look like it's just chunks that are disappearing into the render distance. Some actual like skyline with some clouds, and Chunky has clouds. They're like these, which is bad, or I think they have. You can put like a sphere map for clouds in, but it's still like it always looks bad. And in shaders, like shaders have come a lot farther than that. And when I look at RTX on NVIDIA's RTX on, it's like okay, this is actually a good scene. But like, this looks like shit. This doesn't look like I don't know. This looks like plastic, not wood. What the fuck? Yeah, yeah. I feel like RTX RTX on or MC RTX, whatever the fuck it's called. They have the technology on their side, but they don't have the creativity of the Minecraft shader community. Yeah. So in the end, it's like great technology, but in service of something that looks a lot worse. Like it doesn't look like shit, but it could look a lot better if there was a little bit more like art direction going in. Um, let's see. Let me scroll back up in the chat and see if there are any things that I want to respond to. Official RTX kind of looks like trash. Yeah, it's so plasticky and way too foggy. Yeah, I don't know. At least like Seuss, especially I would say Seuss 10.1 is my favorite version. That was before there was any global illumination, anything like that. And yet that shader like looks great. Um, and I can't really explain why. Uh, if I'm excited for RTX, do you feel that you're going to take advantage of it if possible? No, because I don't work at Microsoft. I don't work at Nvidia. I don't work on Minecraft fucking Windows 10 edition. So I have no access to that technology. It means nothing to me. It's basically a closed source shader pack for people who play Minecraft on Xbox. It's like, well, I don't do that, so I don't it doesn't really do anything for me except like get people interested in ray tracing, which I think that's great. I'm glad that ray tracing is moving into the mainstream, but uh yeah, it's like not going to affect me playing the game at all. The RTX thing should aim for a look closer to what OG original Minecraft is. I wouldn't even say that. I just think that they should aim for a look that's like nice, and not just like like a tech demo for volumetric light. They should offer you a job. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. It totally looks out of place. IMO, the atmosphere effects are the only things that I really like. I mean, I don't just look at the volumetric fog. It looks fucking really bad. Maybe it's just because I'm used to Minecraft shaders where the volumetric fog is like crisp, but this looks like they did it in low resolution in screen space and they had to blur it a bunch. It looks like the light on these blocks is not being accumulated linearly, or like these textures look really washed out and just really bad. I feel like this is just like whoever's job it is. Like there's someone whose job it is who works at Microsoft or Nvidia, and I feel like they just um, are a new, like they've never written a Minecraft shader before, and that's fine. Um, but like you're gonna see probably in a couple years, this will go from looking like this piece of shit to something that you actually wanna load it up and play the game. Um, let's see. Do you want me to send you a screenshot of my ray tracing? That's Jorge Andrade. Yeah, sure. Send me some pictures of it. I'm excited to hear about anyone else doing ray tracing because there's only like 3 or 4 people right now I think who are doing it. Grass doesn't even have shadows and looks empty. Um, yeah, fucking Russell Welch. It looks like one of those Minecraft Gmod maps. That's exactly how this looks. It's like, come on, man. Let's look at Seuss PTGI. NVIDIA RTX, and then fucking like this. Like this might not be realistic, but fuck, you want to play this game, right? You don't want to play. Oh, I gotta get a split screen right now. Oh, this is irritating. Yeah, this looks like a great demo. Let's get to an outdoor scene where it really excels. Yeah, they're mostly going around in rooms with like lights in them because that's what it excels at. But like, look at this room. Does this fucker even go outside? Come on. Like Seuss PTGI on the left, fucking cinematic, looks great. And what does RTX have? Like non-voxel objects. Like everything is rendered correctly. Like you can drop items on the ground and they render. That's like the technology on Nvidia's side. But then it's like, look at this, man. Fuck. Oh. Yeah. You can't just chase like blind realism. That's like the difference between taking like your phone out and taking a picture of like your sidewalk. Like the lighting and stuff is going to be realistic, but if you got someone to just like paint a like get an impressionist painter to go and paint like the ocean or something, it's not realistic, but it looks beautiful. You'd want to look at one and not the other. Let me scroll down. It's so interesting to hear your opinion on this because you're hands down probably the most at liberty to talk about shader quality. Yeah, I would say just because I've been working on shaders for a long time and I seem to, I don't know. I've usually I was critical before of shaders that were like too slow when they didn't need to be. Because when I developed Even, I realized that most of these shaders are slow just because people don't put in time, like they don't put their time in, or they just don't know of like strategies to make shaders faster. And now we're at the point where like performance is less of an issue, but we have we're just throwing technology at this problem and not like we need artists too, basically. They made log to be plastic. Yeah, they did. That's the other thing. Oh, fucking this grass is really funny. This is a criticism I've had of texture pack authors for a while. Like realistic texture packs, I don't like them. And this is why. It's like this grass over here. it doesn't look nice. Like it doesn't fit the game. You have basically grass is rendered as two like cutting planes, and if you just take a picture of some grass and like PNG out the the transparency, like it doesn't look good. That's real. Is it realistic? Yeah, I don't know. Minecraft is a block game, and you have to take advantage of that and understand that. Um, Let me see. Even like these cubic chunk, these cube renders, like this looks nice because it is conforming to the medium of like block game. That's why like this isn't realistic, but it looks kind of cool and pleasing. It's like Legos. Don't try to make your Legos look like fucking too realistic. I think that graphics. Okay, that's a good point. We should go back into graphics being designed by artists instead of programmers. Um, Maybe that's the problem that we had before though, because I feel like when maybe Seuss 10.2 came out, it was really slow, and I couldn't barely run it on my computer, and it pissed me off because it's like this global illumination doesn't ultimately contribute that much to the scene, but it's so expensive, and I felt like that was a decision to go down that road that was very much like art over performance, and I guess if you go to either side of the extreme, you have just artists, and then your shit is slow as fuck and won't run because they don't really think in terms of what is possible, what are the tools, what are like the syntaxes and grammars that we can use to work within like the problems, or not the problem, but like we have the hardware and it can do certain things well. What kind of tricks and shit can we pull to make a nice image using these constraints? Whereas the technical people over here are like, oh boy, we just got this new tool, let's like play with it, but they don't have an eye for making something look nice. And so you really like desperately need both of them. You need to connect both sides of your brain if you think that you are like a creative technical person. And I think Sonic either like I can make fun of him sometimes, but he always comes up with new shit, and his shader like usually looks pretty good. Even like when GI first came out, it was kind of too slow. Even the new thing is like kind of too slow, but graphics cards are getting faster, so it's more acceptable. But yeah. Oh, we got Robo in the chat. Hi. We could have artists work in tandem with programmers. I agree. Or if you are like if you're a one-man team like most shader devs, then you really have to like put stock into both sides of the equation. Um, yeah, like when I showed my friend a comparison between Continuum RT, P-Trace, and fucking Seuss PTGI. Obviously, the only one that they could bear to look at was Seuss PTGI, and it's like I had to explain to them what I was working on and why it was valuable. Like that's okay right now because it's in like an alpha state, but when I actually want to sell it to people, or like when I want to put it on Patreon and I want people to have to pay money for this thing, it's like they better not. I better not have to explain to them why it's good. Like it should just be. Um, yeah, and so like that's the thing. I can fucking sit in my chair for 8 hours a day and like bang out like the fastest shader code, and like really get in my head about how to make this thing a little bit faster. But then it's just gonna be a Frankenstein of effects that look like don't work together. So you kind of have to combine. You have to like be both, do both jobs in some sense. Sonic Ether shaders seem to have improved a ton in terms of visual quality over the years. Well, part of that is just the development of not just the tech, like the GPU technology, but also like the development of technical ideas that we had. Like just fucking when volumetric light came out, nobody knew how to do that yet. When um when Seuss PTGI came out, like his first path trace thing, he came up with the idea for how to do that, and it's like that was really smart. Um, and it's just like over the years we've sort of had new discoveries in ways to do these things. Um, Yeah, the art direction of Minecraft RTX is fucking bad. And I guess I think the reason I'm so critical is just because I am jealous. I'm jealous that no matter how hard I work, um, no matter how many hours I put into making my shit like as fast and as beautiful as possible, and it'll probably be more beautiful than Minecraft RTX at some point. But if you throw an item on the ground in the game, at the end of the day, my shader will probably never be able to render it, and RTX can like like that was the first thing they did, and it was a no-brainer for them, and that's hard to swallow. You'll DM me. Oh, you DM'd me on Discord. Okay, let me see. Average gamer representative. Wow, this is pretty nice. Let's look at this guy's screenshots. Yeah, this is nice. Um, I can even see your feet rendering in here. I don't know if that's how that's working, but like the fact that this is an entity and it's appearing in reflections means you're probably doing something in screen space, but very nice. These pictures are cool. Let's see this one. This isn't at max quality. Okay. I mean, this stuff is everything looks wet. I don't know if you were testing out specular or something. This looks like, wait a second. Are you sure this is your shader? This looks like a modification of Seuss or something. But maybe you did the same thing as me and you just like took effects out, or maybe you just your effects ended up looking the same. But yeah, this is pretty nice. Um, let's see. Uh, RTX is out for Minecraft? No, no. Nvidia's RTX Minecraft thing is not out right now, and looks like it's going sort of the same direction as the whole super duper graphics pack that Microsoft teased a long time ago, where like they talked about it once or twice, and then like there was no news for like a year, and then it got canceled. So maybe that's what'll happen with RTX. It would be a shame too, because like there's a lot of hype around it. Like, yeah. Um, what is my opinion on continuum shaders? That's a great question. So, I am friends with most of the people who work on Continuum. I am even, I would say, an employee of them as a company. I work on Continuum RT right now. Um, in terms of what I think about the shader, like you can go on the website and buy it. It's in at least Continuum RT is in early access, and these other shaders, I mean, they have a reputation. You probably like you could go look at videos at how it looks on YouTube. I would say Continuum overall is usually a little bit slow for what it probably looks. It's like Seuss with more features, and it's a little bit slower than it needs to be, but like it's okay. Continuum RT right now is like very early stages. It has some of the technology that I came up with. So like that's interesting. If you want to download it, there's certain things that it can do right now that other shaders can't. But yeah, right now it's just in a pretty early state. So yeah, hopefully later it'll be a lot better. Right now I'm working on things like extending the render distance for um, what is it for ray tracing, because the render distance for ray tracing right now is like 16 chunks and you can't ever go higher than that. But I think like in a few months Continuum RT will probably be a good shader, but like right now it's like it's not pleasant for me to play. Um, yeah, but we'll see. The super duper graphics pack when they were announcing the original shaders before. Yeah. Yeah, and I think even when we saw the super duper graphics pack we were like uh I think even it was kind of ugly, wasn't it? Yeah, it's like it was just like they added shaders to Minecraft Windows Edition, but they were worse than all the shaders that were out for the Java edition, just because people have been working on them for so much longer. So yeah. Uh, if I make ptrace modular and have a somewhat easy way to manually adjust colors, uh, amplify effects, or lower how much they change something in the game, yeah, I mean every shader that I make, I want it to have if it's easy for me to make something optional, and it's something that normal people would feasibly want to change, then yeah, I'll probably make it an option. You got Continuum and Stratum, and it looks way too real for Minecraft. I did a replay mod render on my YT channel. Okay. If you guys message me on Discord, um, then I'll probably look at stuff on stream. Yeah. Hmm. Imagine working for Continuum from Robo who works for Continuum. Okay. Tom Z is going to sleep. Okay. Yeah, I've been thinking wait, oh, let's see. High quality screenshots. I mean, these are already 1080p. Or if you mean like you'll turn the resolution up, that's great. Is Seuss, so these are Seuss screenshots. That means that it already has screen space ray tracing, which I would imagine because Cody, you would never take that out. Hmm. Even these screenshots, like you can criticize this, but I think if you showed this to a normal person, it looks worse than most Minecraft shaders do. But if you showed this to a normal person, this image, they would probably like it. This is kind of, it is like art directed in a way, much more than like RTX. Wait, what was that picture of fucking? This is hilarious. I can't believe they made this. No, my God. Uh, yeah, this kid messaging me on Discord. You can do up to 3840 res. Dude, I'm only streaming at 1080p, so like, what's the point? Yeah. Do shaders like these and Toon comic shaders have much in common? Yeah, they're probably all GLSL shaders or OpenG or HLSL. They're shaders, okay? When you say shader, that's the same sort of deal. Um, so RT shaders are different from the old types of shaders where like old shaders worked with like a buffer, like a texture that would represent like your screen, and it would render different stuff to that and then reuse that information to do shadows and other effects like that. Whereas RT shaders now, instead of rendering like some sort of vision that you have coming out of your eyes, they like voxelize the entire world and just use your screen as a data structure to store all of the cubes, and then later they can like query rays going through that data until they like hit a voxel. Yeah, like Evangelion. It's exactly like Evangelion, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Maybe he's talking about these pictures. I don't know. Yeah. This is a great. Oh fuck. This looks like Seuss 10.1. This is beautiful. I really love this old, like the old water. Before things were too complicated with a bunch of GI, like making my computer really slow, I could run Seuss 10.1 on my MacBook. I don't think you can run any of the new shaders on my MacBook. Oh, this is a good comparison, yeah. Yeah, I mean Continuum looks a lot like Seuss. So if you like Seuss, you'll probably like Continuum, and it has some more features too. So, yeah. The fuck is going on? Wait, what? Hmm. Is there a build out there that some people have of RTX Minecraft? What people have been demoing? What are the RTX trailers for Minecraft real, or what does render? Okay, the way I understand it so far is RTX is not released to the public. They send it around to a few like YouTubers, like the Digital Foundry, so that they can look at it. But I think that's the extent of the public having availability of RTX. It's just like they send it to graphics reporters so that they could look at it. Yeah, I'm alive. Yeah. Let me maybe I should look at Continuum a little bit. I've got some messages. Someone's texting me on Discord. some whack stuff that he did. Let's see. Yeah, this is what happens when you turn off buffer clearing and you mess around. That's cute. Let me open up my screenshots folder. So this is when I was first playing around with volumetric uh, volumetric stuff. So this is obviously just a stupid ball, but the main thing here was that it would influence this shaded light correctly, and it would cause ambient occlusion around the edges of this. This is supposed to be some sort of volumetric object, and it's really easy to, when you write the function, like to get the volumetric accumulation between points A and B, if you write a function like that, the framework that I've written in my shader is like you just plop that function in and it works. You can like integrate it into your rendering really easily. Messing around with noise, some different emissive lights, debugging. This was a funny. I I don't remember what I did. I've been posting this screenshot around like, oh, look at me. I've got this beautiful light at 480 frames per second. Obviously, that was not how fast it was. I had like turned stuff down so it was rendering really fast. Yeah. This is sort of what I look at all day when like you're coding shaders. If you ever wondered like what is it like to, when I was younger, like before I knew how to do shaders, I thought that people who did shaders were like magicians or something. But actually no, they just look at shit like this all day. Oh, this is my favorite. This is an image that I've been posting in my Discord a lot. Um, so this is some Farlands terrain, and it goes, the outline of the actual terrain goes from around here and then over here, and then the terrain is tiled. There was some, I did something wrong. It was some sort of glitch, and then the terrain tiled every so often, and so it looked like it was like an infinite render distance or something. But in reality, it was just a bug. And so here it is going to the extreme. I don't know why these ones all turned red. That's kind of confusing. Um, yeah. Someone's asking me what happened to their Seuss. I don't know, dude. Let me see. I'm not really a support guy. Let me just open this up. Oh, when you go underwater, the refractions are sort of multicolored. I don't know. That's probably how it's supposed to be. Yeah, that's probably just light refracting like normal. Yeah, I don't know what this picture is supposed to be. I'm pretty sure that's just how it's. That's just what would happen in real life, dude. Get used to it. Sorry. It's realistic. Oh, that's a fun visualizer. Let me go in my world and show what it looks like as rays are actually tracing. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Let me limit the FPS so it doesn't look too bad. Maybe 30. Uh, where is that? Yep. Yeah, but this is the data over a couple steps of like how rays march through the world. So you can see that they march in like cube sections, and they don't all march as fast as like they don't march at a uniform speed. Um, in regions of the world where there's nothing there, the cubes or the rays march a lot faster, and they turn black because they don't. That when they turn black, that means that ray is finished already. Yeah. Let's see what happens if I go in here. Not really. Can't really see anything. Let me see if I just turn the ray down to 1 if it's a little bit more clear what's going on. Just going to shoot a primary ray. Okay. And this is showing like the position, so let me make it black and white. Uh, Here we go. Turn up your bitrate. I can't turn up my bitrate. It's already maxing out my internet. What is my render distance on right now? Is it? Yeah, there we go. So you can see how it kind of wraps around this cube, but around the edges, it's intersecting with sort of its low quality march. It thinks that it might be hitting the cube, and so it has to do more steps to refine that march. Yeah. And basically, the longer it takes to turn black, the slower your shader is going to be. If I turn off my octree tracing, then we can see it should be a lot slower. Oh yeah. So here, every step, they're only allowed to move 1 voxel, and you can see how this is a 30-step loop, and most of the time it doesn't even converge within 30 steps. It takes way more than that. Yeah. Um, this guy Landhuman is still asking me for support. If it's in the log, well, you didn't post the log, so I don't. Yeah, I can't do anything if you don't post the log. Just render everything. There we go. Oh shit. What is that? Okay. So the point that the shader pack is at right now, I would say, is it's close to being able to compete with something like Chunky, where instead of needing to export, like go into another program and do a nice Minecraft render, you could just flip on this shader pack and stand still for a second. And it has metrics to tell you, it has just the metric to tell you how many frames you've been standing still for, and it's been accumulating. And every time you move, it stops. So that's why it gets noisy. Okay, I'm going to see if I can rewrite something. So right now, this uses a data structure called a queue in order to let it march sort of indefinitely. I think this is what Sonic either calls infinite bounced ray tracing or something, infinite bounced GI. Um, and right now, I'm using something called a. Let me fucking. I should have a screenshot somewhere. Yeah, this one. Yep. So this is a rendering tree. So on the first sort of ray that you shoot, you're rendering for what the camera can see. So like, is there, a cobblestone right in front of your face? And if so, that's what the camera ray will handle. And then after you hit, if you hit something, then you need to light that surface that you hit, and you do that by shooting a specular ray as well as a sunlight ray, and an ambient ray. But like the trouble is that GLSL, you can't write like you can't do recursive functions, and so if you have a function that is just like do array with some parameters, like you can't have the camera ray then call like the ray tracing function again to render the specular ray. Unless you use a data structure to simulate a recursive function, and that's what I'm doing right now. I wrote a queue which basically stores all of the rays in one level, uh, like together, and then it will pick a ray off one at a time and then render it. But what I realized is mostly these trees that we want to render, they branch, which is bad. That's like that means the problem gets exponentially difficult to solve. But we usually only want to render one of these rays about 3 or 4 steps deep. And so I should have never written a queue. Instead, I should have written a stack, so that instead of having to store everything like on a level, like as this thing gets wider, that's pretty difficult. I think there's like 8 things on this level, and if you go down again, there's going to be more. But usually we only want to go about 4 steps deep, and so if we use a stack instead, we would only have to allocate an array for 4 of these things to be active at the same time. What is AC3? Was it in Acid Interstate V3? AC3 is the code name for the shader pack that was used in Acid Interstate V3, but because that video had a lot of procedural effects like the transitions, it's not a playable shader. You can't just like install it and then play it, and I never cleaned it up so that you could play it. So unless you know what you're doing, you probably don't want to mess with it. Where can you get GLSL? You, I mean, if you install Optifine, that'll allow you to run GLSL shaders. Yeah, but that's about it. Like you should download Optifine and then run a shader and then just play around with it, and then you should sort of get an idea of how it works. But I'm gonna jump into working on this queue thing a little bit. So I'll be around, and if anyone has any questions in chat, I'll answer them. Yeah, GLSL is a language. You don't really install it. I think this person doesn't really know how to program yet, so I would just recommend install Optifine, download a shader pack that looks good, and then look in the files and kind of mess around and try and change things, and eventually you'll be on your path to learning how to program in GLSL. Someone should make some tutorials. I think Dot Modded from Continuum Graphics did a long time ago, but they were just beginner stuff. So you won't get very far with just those, but it's a good place to start. Yeah, I think it would be good if we redid those tutorials. I've thought about redoing them myself too, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel a little bit. I don't know if I would. Basically, I've been fucking programming for 7 years these shaders, and I just feel like when I try to explain what I do to people, it's like I'm at such a level that I can't. It's very difficult for me to explain to a beginner, like. The information, it's hard for me to find the information that they need to hear to understand. It's like if you go to a university and you have a class with some savant professor who is like so deep into his work that he doesn't understand what it's like getting into this wealth of knowledge for a normal person. Yeah, I'm a shader savant. Robo says, I'm doing this for 8 years now, and every time I try to explain them how stuff works, they never understand it that well. I mean, if you were speaking to yourself 8 years ago, it's unlikely that you would have understood either. Yeah, you're jumping straight into the more advanced stuff, and that's like when you get into any type of field, where like you have to learn it for a while. After you've learned it, it's difficult for you to communicate with normal people about it. Yeah. And I don't think I'm especially good at explaining these things to people, at least not yet. Yeah, you forget what's basic or advanced at all. You guys are coding, oh, some kid in fucking chat is coding in Scratch. I actually, I think I was coding in Scratch in 2015 or 2016. So that should give you an idea of like what the progression was from scratch to like doing this. And even then, like, computer programming is a pretty big field. The fact that I've focused on this so much means that like I'm not. There's a lot of other like I can't. You probably heard about machine learning or like these neural network algorithms, and I don't really know much about those. It is like the same major in the same field as like, you know, programming in general, but like it's a broad field, and as one person you don't have time to like pursue all of the interesting stuff. So it's like, yeah. I hope that shaders stay relevant because it's really my specialty right now. I'm still obsessed with this line. So, Robo, you're telling me that doing a dot, Robo, I'm not sure about that, because although you only have to issue a single instruction for doing a vec3 dot product, that instruction is a multiply instruction, whereas sum3 is 2 addition instructions. At least when I tested it out, it was faster, but that was when I was doing like just a loop that would do only that. So in the context of your whole program with other things going on, I don't know which one would be faster, but I'm still going to err on the side of sum3. Am I using an RTX card? No, my card doesn't have, it's a 1070, it doesn't have RTX. Do the ray tracing cores add any benefits when using GLSL by default, or do you have to use NVIDIA specific libraries / API? Yeah, they provide, even if I had a 2080, it would be faster just because a 2080 is faster, and it would have nothing to do with the RT cores. They would be sitting dormant on your card, at least if you were playing Minecraft Java Edition. Yeah, it's similar to PhysX. The other thing it's similar to is the new RT cores. Those, I heard one of my friends keeps telling me that because the new cards have RT cores that my matrix multiplies in GLSL in Minecraft are going to get faster. I don't believe that for a second. My music is a bit high compared to my voice. Okay, thanks for telling me. I'll turn it down. If it's still too loud, let me know. Thanks. Tomsy over here with the fucking compliment sandwich. The music is good, don't turn it off, but it's too high. Thank you. The RT cores, yeah. So that's, NVIDIA is using two of its things to get, basically NVIDIA now, when you compare NVIDIA to AMD or integrated graphics, NVIDIA cards have RT cores and tensor cores, and they actually use both of those to do ray tracing in like games. They use the RT cores obviously to do the ray tracing, and then the tensor cores to clean them up with AI denoising algorithms. And we don't have access to either of those in Minecraft Java Edition. So we're really like, we're doing things that should not, like, nobody, the stage is not set for Minecraft RT to work, unless NVIDIA makes it so. Just installed even shaders, good. Yeah, Robo, send me a screenshot of those new clouds. I mean, volumetric clouds already looked amazing before. I don't think... Let me see. When I was playing around with them, I got them to look really nice. I never committed them to any repo, but yeah. Not these ones. Yeah, like these clouds were fucking tight. And I only have one picture where they really look nice. One or two, yeah. Oh, I think this is in P-trays, actually. Shit, I can do this pretty soon. I can get these in. Nice. And I was just messing around for a long time. So these are the screenshots of the new clouds. Hey Robo, what shader is this in right now? Is the music Copice Halifax? Yes, it is. Here's the music. It's Tomsy over here, fucking champ. I'm listening to... No, it's not. It's actually Milieu, isn't it? His other moniker. Yeah, it's this album. This album is fucking great. 8 years in the making. Yeah. But back to these clouds. Are these just the clouds that Zombie is working on, or are these going to be an RT as well? Slow AF. I mean, these clouds don't look like they need to be slow. So if they are, that's just because we are being fools right now. But I think that we can get these running real time, like within a reasonable time frame. Yeah, I mean, these are thin clouds. They're a little bit noisy. These should not be that slow. I mean, these look here. The thing is just that if you look at these clouds, out in the distance, you can see the cloud gets cut off at this line. That means that it's probably using the same code that we have in RT, because that's the code that I wrote for Even originally, and it had this issue. Let's see what this looks like. So this is Zombie's ray traced shader. His glass is looking good, but it's also very noisy. Less so than mine though. He's already got filtering in. And it converges pretty fast. Yeah, it just feels a little bit blurry. That's all. So let's see how do the clouds work. That's unfortunate that they're so noisy. And they don't seem to converge at all because the accumulation time frame is pretty short. Let's see if we can change the settings. Yeah, get some thick clouds. Jesus Christ. These do not need to be this slow. This is ridiculous. Come on. I can barely navigate the menu to get down here and change the shader pack. Let me turn on my clouds for a second. Oh, what shader pack? This is nice. This is probably Molly or something. Yeah. Get some clouds. Tomsy, thank you for continuously donating to me. It's funny that you're donating in euros, though. Was the video encode even suffering? Yeah, because I'm using the GPU encoder, too. I can't find the fucking cloud settings. Man. Where did I put them? Fuck, when you get lost in your own shader. Here it is. Yeah, and I made them move really fast because I couldn't get the parallax, or they were just too large and annoying. Oh shit, have I been turning the mic on by accident? Okay. Let's see. Camera position, this one. Go into volumetric clouds. Tomsy is from France. That's why he keeps giving me euros. I appreciate it. Shit. I really messed these things up. Actually, so I think all of this code is mine. I wrote it for, oh no, I guess probably the starting out code is what I wrote for even shaders. That code made its way into Continuum. And then I believe all of the rest of the code up here is the lighting code, which looks really nice, and that is probably Robo's code. I wish I could fix the... I need to go in here and just rewrite this whole function because I can't get it. I have a function to let me control how much the clouds move around and like how high they are, but it was like, it wasn't, I didn't set it up correctly when I put them in this shader pack, and now I can't figure out how to get them to work right. But yeah, this is kind of the visual quality that they'll have later. They accumulate really fast too. The start is yours though? Really? It could be, yeah. I just feel like I did the same thing in Even, but it's possible. Oh, actually, yeah, Robo probably did this, yeah. Yeah. You actually don't use spheres, by the way, because you can't use spheres. I spent 10 hours trying to figure this out, Robo. You're not using a sphere. You're using a parabola, or a paraboloid. And I'm not criticizing you. It's actually not possible to use spheres because of the way that you can't map a sphere to a 2D surface. Like, you can't perfectly do it. But yeah. Another person asking, am I planning to create any acid interstate type videos? Maybe. Right now I'm just working on shaders, and if I have a really cool shader and I think I could make a cool video with it, then I would make another acid interstate. But until then, I'm not planning anything right now. So, great question. Am I building these shaders for real time or for screenshots? Right now, just because I don't want to work on filtering yet, I'm building them mostly for screenshots. But after I've done that, after I'd say that this shader pack is like a better option than going into Blender or something, then I will probably try and make it more playable. Which I just haven't focused on that much, but I honestly don't know if it'll get to that point. If I'll have a lot of ideas for making that possible later or not. Probably, because like SUS PTGI is pretty playable. Someone is modding the shader that I used in Acid Interstate V3. They're trying to make it a normal shader. I mean, at this point, you could probably just download even shaders and you would get a pretty similar experience. It has acid shaders in there. So, yeah, I would check that out. So this looks like it's showing off some sort of emissive stuff in Seuss at night. I don't know what's actually emitting the light though, but it looks kind of nice. Yeah, I mean that water looks the best out of this whole picture. Why are these clouds so high up? Maybe it was some of the settings that I set. Oh man. Got some screenshots coming in. These are alright. That's weird. Seuss is not rendering these trees or something. Huh. I thought he handled that. Robo with these clouds. Yeah, these clouds are good, man. These are good pictures. Fuck, like this is good. This is good. Look at this fucking fog. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with these trees though. These clouds are well art directed, I'll say that. Hey, Chocolate Milk, you're talking about some challenge. What is that? Is that like a screenshot contest or something? These were taken at like 1 FPS, these pictures. I mean, these don't need to be 1 FPS though. Like there's not that much fancy stuff going on. It's just some reflections. And there's like striations on these. It's probably because I don't know what's going on actually, but yeah. Hawks is messaging me. People are just messaging me because they want to fucking have their screenshots on stream. Okay, guys, fine. Fucking all the Continuum people, fine. Okay, here. You want me to plug Continuum RT? I'll do it. Yeah. So here are some screenshots made in Continuum RT, which I have worked on. It's in early alpha state, so don't expect too much, but if you want to go subscribe and try it out, yeah, this is what it looks like. And I think these are also with the Pulcra texture pack. Or no, it's not called Pulcra anymore, sorry. It's called Stratum. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to get back to working on my clouds. We got some messages. What's going on? Someone asked, what's the reason for these lines? That means the shadow map resolution is too low. You need to go in the shadow settings and turn the shadow map resolution up. Robo, I'll probably join your server in a few minutes when I want to test some lighting out. Right now I want to figure out if I can fix these clouds quickly. Uh-oh. .14. I'm on 1.12. Sorry. Maybe later. Hawks is telling me the frames accumulation is nice. Yeah, I know. I'll add it to RT. It's just I stole it from someone on Shader Toy. This little thing up here. And I'm not sure if it's going to work as nicely with your filtering too, because, yeah. It's based on the fact that mine has no filtered data. Acid interstate with RTX. Uh-oh. My whole computer froze. Yeah. I don't know about acid interstate with RTX. I mean, with this P-Trace shader, probably. If I do, it'll obviously be with this. You can't use Continuum RT on 1.12 since it uses unsigned integers. I don't know about that, friend. I think you guys just didn't make it backwards compatible because of the flattening update. Yeah, integer formats were added to Optify in 1.12 F5. So you should be able to backport Continuum RT to work with 1.12. I am right, Robo, aren't I? Yeah, the reason why blocks aren't rendering in 1.12 with Continuum RT is because you guys didn't make some way to backport IDs. And you've been developing on a version after 1.13 where the flattening happened. So you can make it simultaneously compatible with both because Optifine has macros to tell you what version of the game you're on. And I did that for this, but I sort of didn't keep up with it. So it doesn't work that well on 1.14 right now. Or maybe 1.14 just sucks. That's probably the real reason. Razor is a shader dev. His name is Robo. Yeah. Everyone thinks I'm smart, but I just pay attention. Yeah, I don't know. This is P-Trace Tomsy. It's the shader that I'm working on. It's not available yet. It'll probably be up on Patreon or some sort of subscription service in the future. The flattening is mostly something that shader devs had to worry about, so yeah. What is going on here? Something like that. I don't really know. I don't know how it works, I just know how it affected Optifine. And it's more convenient for us because then we get to define our block IDs instead of having a shader try and like dissect it. But it is a change from before, and so you have to support both versions. Yeah, we got the big peep energy. Big peen. Alright, see you later, Robo. Hmm. Turn off local coverage. Let me see. Oh, there we go. That's why I had to make my cloud so dense. Thanks. Yeah. So if I set this back to default value, it probably looks a lot better now. Yeah, it's very grainy right now. Because it's built to accumulate at the moment. Yeah, Tomsy, if you like the music, it's Kopais Halifax. The dude is fucking prolific, and he's got tons of great music. Um, a lot of times when I program for a long time, like 8 hours, I'll just sit here and listen to... He's got albums that are an hour long or like an hour and a half long. Like just one song will be an hour and a half long. And those are really good if you're working on something ethereal like clouds. And then you like finish it and it's like this fucking music is swelling in the background. And it's like, oh my god. Mm. Yeah, I can't seem to do what I was hoping with these clouds right now, so I think I'll just leave them alone for now. So we've got some contrasting, some fighting brightness values here. If I turn the scene brightness down, it should be better. Kopais Halifax and Milieu are actually the same dude. So Kopai's Hal Effect is the net label that, or like the name that he releases most of his more ambient, long form music on. Now this is what I wanted. So we've got the clouds in the reflections. But it's quite a bit slower than what I was doing before, so let me see if switching it back makes it faster. Yeah, maybe a queue is faster than a stack. This dude was listening to Kopai's Halifax and didn't know that he was the same person as Milieu. Come on. Okay. I think that'll probably wrap it up for today. I think I'll probably try to stream maybe once a week and sort of fill in the gaps of what I've been working on with this shader, as well as providing the hot takes, necessary hot takes for the shader community and the things that are going on, the injustice that NVIDIA is perpetrating against us with their RT cores and their Tensor cores, whatever AMD is concocting up to do the same. But yeah, thanks everyone for showing up, and yeah, I'll probably see you next week.